Good evening, welcome on into yet another day of ESL Challenger League. It's season 48 and we're talking Asia tonight. It's been a bit of a hectic week. We've seen some interesting results on the way through to day number 3. And here we are again, Pilski. Looking good, looking ready to go. You've gone for the blue and the maroon, very fitting given State of Origins tonight. So you're just keeping your allegiances leaning both ways.
So intentional, of course. Yep, is what I would go for. We do have another interesting derby coming on in though, and it's as classic as the State of Origin, which would be in Asia CS, a classic Mongolia versus China, but in this case with a bit of a new twist, because these IHC blokes are causing a little bit of a ruckus. We'll see.
Yeah, they are. A little bit of a dub in the earlier stages up against Atox. We weren't expecting that. They got the 2-0 there on day number 1, whereas, Tyloo, again, yesterday against Atox only ended up getting the 1-1. So we've got a couple of things here to look at here, and we'll sort of jump into as we go through. We've got to talk how things are shaping up in the season so far. Obviously, taking a look at Tyloo's performances is pretty prudent, given, we would have expected them to be towards the top end of the standings, and indeed they are. 3-1, as mentioned, that one loss was to Atox, who aren't really performing quite as well, but then, again, it's still early days. Now, IHC, on the other hand, that 2-0 win that they were able to pull off against Atox, already a pretty good sign, and I guess for me, the big question around this IHC roster is, are they going to be able to bring that level to the table on a consistent basis, or was that more of a one-hit wonder? So see if they can have a performance today against the likes of Tyloo that's going to look good, and we'll really start to lock them in as potentially a contending team for this season, and we'll be starting to keep a bit of a stronger eye on them.
Yeah, 100%. I think, it's only early days here in terms of the standings for the league. Still plenty of games to be played. But some interesting results already. Atox dropping a couple of maps, which we've gotten a chance to watch. IHC, in the league twice. That's how good they're doing, because they're getting some 2-0 dubs. And look, if they can get a 2-0 dub over Atox and Tyloo, then, honestly, that's a fantastic start to the league. And they'll be a team to keep an eye on heading through into the playoffs, honestly.
Yep, most definitely. Looking across some of the rest of the results there, Daewoo United not really having a fantastic start, which is not too surprising. Nomads, Kenla also rough starts, and these are kind of the sort of fresher teams, newer teams, so it isn't necessarily anything that is too unexpected. But nice to see Noobs but Diligent in there, and again, one of those sort of teams that's popping around in the tier 2 of the Chinese scene that it is a little bit hard to get a great idea of where they're sitting, because we just don't really see them playing in a lot of our tournaments. Let's say when we would sort of say whether or not it's a Chinese tournament or a Western tournament. They sort of hang around in a lot of those Chinese tournaments. You see that name cropping up a little bit, but I don't think I've actually ever seen them playing in any of the qualifiers that we get to cover, or anything like ESL Challenger League. So it's kind of cool to see that team starting to filter through. And I think they're going to be sort of one of those, again, like middle of the pack teams that probably will make it into, maybe something like the top 10, but I don't imagine that they're going to be necessarily challenging for a top spot. Whereas the match that we've got for us today, I mean, these two teams definitely could be in that conversation. Tyloo already is, just by virtue of their name brand, their name power, and the core roster that they've brought together, but also IHC are looking pretty good at the moment, so maybe they get to join that conversation if they do well today. Let's have a look at the rosters that both teams are going to be bringing in today, Pilski, and break it down a little bit more in depth. But as far as you're concerned, I mean, I guess it's really hard to say, right, with IHC, but are you getting good vibes from them given what we saw on day 1?
For sure. I mean, it might have just been a specific derby matchup though, with Accuracy coming off the back of the Atox roster and them just being very confident playing against a team like Atox. Atox looking a little sleepy after the player break. There's every chance that they could roll into this series against Tyloo and just get absolutely, curb stomped tonight. But in all honesty, if they just play the way they played the other night, they play confident, the rookies turn up as well, then I don't see a reason why IHC can't give Tyloo a run for their money. I don't know how you feel about it.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is going to kind of come down to what version of Tyloo turns up today, and generally speaking, that would be my frame of mind for the vast majority of Tyloo play here in ESL Challenger League. I would say, with Mongols not being here, And Lin Vision having had some roster instabilities, obviously a lot of that caused by Tyloo. I would probably look at Tyloo on paper, assuming they would have their full 5 as the strongest on paper team. Obviously, issue is that they don't have their full 5 right now because, again, we're still kind of waiting for Starry to get on in there, and Zoking is filling those shoes. But if Tyloo have a bit of a slower day, you know, if Mercury, Mosey, Jamyoung aren't kind of pulling together, obviously even G, you know, like this is the thing about this Tyloo roster. It used to just be, you know, when we were sort of in that Advent era, that Kaze era, you'd say, oh, it has to be Jamyoung, it has to be Mercury, and then hopefully maybe somebody else can kind of step up there. But now you kind of like go down that list, and it's like, once Starry's in the roster there, all 5 of those guys are going to be really, really big threats in the server on any given day. So you can turn towards any one of those individuals and or maybe any 2 of those individuals and really start to get excited.
I saw Zoking get a vintage 4K from Porchside with the M4A4 the other day. So, and I think that was literally yesterday. You know, he's not doing too bad, honestly. He's having a couple moments here and there.
I'm not saying he's doing bad.
He's getting the entries. I wouldn't be talking smack about Zoking, Jordan. He's been around for 10 years playing CS, all right?
Yeah, look, I mean, he's definitely not doing too bad for himself. But my main takeaway, my main point here is that obviously, if Tyloo's playing to their level, if those individuals are performing, I think it's going to be tough for any of the teams here in Season 48 to take games away from them. But, you know, sometimes they're a little bit hit and miss. And fair enough, there's been a little bit of inconsistency within this roster for like 6 months, 12 months. It's been a little bit up and down, really. But once they get it all together, and hopefully that'll be soon, I think they're going to be a really big contender. On the other side of the coin, I mean, the question was, and it's a long answer, can IHC contest with Tyloo? Well, yeah, I think they can. They showed us a really good game earlier on against Atox. Bring that level. Tyloo, not at 100%. I definitely think that there's a world where IHC could maybe cause a ruckus, take a game off of them, a map off of them. Speaking of, let's have a look at what the maps are going to end up being, at least for game number 1. And, you know, we'll sort of get a bit of an insight maybe as to probably where we're headed for map number 2. When we get this video up, it's going to be Nuke, and then, well, Vertigo, the last one to be banned. We'll see if that sort of trajectory continues to remain true, that we get Vertigo as our second map here.
I mean, IHC the other day looked pretty good on Nuke. Was it Nuke we got to see? We got to see Ancient and, or maybe it was Ancient Inferno, or was it Nuke?
I think it was Nuke. I think it was
Nuke, yeah. Because the thing is, like, I feel like we see Nuke a lot in the Mongolian scene, and we even saw like Clutch Gaming on Nuke. And honestly, the way IHC was playing reminded me of watching Clutch Gaming in this same league on Nuke, which was like just like full confidence, swinging yard, like with rifles and playing hyper aggro, getting in the face of the other team. And it was working super well for them. So we'll see if we get the same thing in this game. Nice to see Tyloo going to Nuke as well. I mean, well, you know what? I was thinking to myself, Tyloo playing Nuke is a bit funny because that used to be an insta ban, but that was the old Tyloo, and obviously the core of this team is now like nowadays the Vici guys that were the ones that first started playing Nuke in China. So, you know,
yeah,
not surprising that they like that map, I suppose.
But not under the in-game leadership of Jamyoung. You know, that was like a long time ago. That was still Advent time, so he's going to have to sort of bring something new.
Advent is Jamyoung. Advent made Jamyoung, Jordan, okay? He hands doubted him from the pug scene, okay? Not a single official. Not a single official play.
Is this like in Star Wars, you know, where Emperor Palpatine, Darth Sidious, whatever, he was trying to like clone himself into some new body? That's what he's like literally he's plucked Jamyoung out. He's like, this looks like a ripe specimen. Let me transfer all of my energy, my brain power into this young player and turn him into my legacy. And maybe he's done that. Maybe Jamyoung is just Advent, but better in the server.
You know what? I would have said that, but then I watched Tyloo playing with Cammy and how like well structured they were playing, and now I'm starting to think it was Cammy all along, wasn't it?
Maybe. All right, well, look, we've got to talk about our player to watch, and I don't actually know who that is tonight. I'm assuming you chose it, so here, go and have some fun.
There you go. What do you think of that one, Jordan?
Well, that's actually, funnily enough, what I would have chosen too. So
yeah. See, we got the same thought patterns. It's almost like we've casted together for way too long.
I was going to say, it's almost like we watched the same game, because this guy was actually kind of banging in that first match that we watched.
This guy was on E-Fire, some might say.
God. Yeah, he was though. Like, that's fair. Yeah, kind of like dominated Atox, and if he can bring it to the table again, then it's going to look really, really good IHC. But the thing is, like, it wasn't even just him, right? We were very with, like, for example, the flash assist that we were getting through from accuracy. I thought Wonders as well, the other sort of question mark player, the one that we haven't really seen too much of before, was looking pretty good. So just as a cohesive unit, this IHC roster, I think really impressed us, and I'm looking forward to the end today because, you know, we can only draw so much from 2 maps. You know, it's easy to look at those 2 maps and say they were really good there, and maybe that's true. Maybe they came in with a fantastic game plan against Atox. Maybe they're familiar with that team and they've played against them a lot, and so they know their tendencies. But you know, if they can do the same thing again here against Tyloo, then that really just continues to add further credence to the fact that IHC are actually pretty good.
Watching anyone who watched that Ancient game is like so obvious that like accuracy knows exactly how they play, because you don't just throw perfect flashes like 10 out of 12 T rounds to enable your team to get kills. You know, like they were just reading them so perfectly, and that's not going to be the case against Tyloo. Like, they're going to have to probably, you know, probably figure things out a little bit more. It won't be as clean of a stomp by any stretch of the imagination, but it wasn't only the solid reads. Like, they were just playing with confidence, and the individuals were firing up. And I think if they can bring that same level of individual skill and confidence, you know, it's never a bad thing to have individually skilled players who are being assertive in the server in Counter-Strike. It's a win condition for the longer time.
Yeah, I mean, how are you going to be able to match up, though, against some of the most individually skilled players? Probably the most individually skilled players coming out of China at the moment in Mercury, Mosey, Jamyoung, and even G. You know, he had a bit of a slower start to the day yesterday, but when he got rolling, particularly on that second half of Inferno, kind of saw what he was going to be able to do in terms of dismantling things too. So I think
he finally got an AWP, and I was like, well, G's got 3 kills. He's got to start killing people now that he's got an AWP. Guess what? He started killing a lot of people when he got the AWP.
Yeah. All right, well, let's jump on in and see how things are going to shape up. We'll get the answers to our questions as to whether or not IHC are going to cut the mustard against more than just the one team, and see how they play here against Tyloo. They will have the benefit of starting on the CT side. Accuracy opting for the defuse kit and the smoke, but beyond that, nothing too untoward for IHC. Just going to have to be the old brawl strategy, brawl heavy strategy that they will look to employ.
Look like they want to put some pressure on uppers and then try to pull the rotation away from elbow and go into the ramp room, but IHC already 3 stacked over here.
Well, that's not gone too well for Tyloo. IHC, as you mentioned, have the numbers there, and they're using that quite nicely indeed. Ariukul with a sharp shot onto Mercury, and will follow suit onto G as well. Looks like IHC are here to play, and they're ready to prove that they are actually up to the task here in ESL Challenger League Season 48.
These guys are so sharp, man. Like, this is my favorite thing about ACL. It's like you just get these teams, and you're like, man, these guys are pretty good. This could be exciting. And IHC, they're starting to excite me. They're starting to get me worked up. Looking forward to, you know, seeing what they're going to do in the future. Can't wait to be disappointed.
Well, you never know. Mongolian region seems to continue to produce some really talented players. And speaking of Mongols at the moment, they're ready for their game against G2. So lots going on tonight for the Mongolian region.
Yep, Jamyoung slipped down the back. Rest of Tyloo flashing their way out ramp, trying to meet up with him. Already a duel being taken on the Ariukul. Zoking's found accuracy in the meanwhile. This first gun round not going well against the anti-force. Zoking's found another one just as well as it started. It is very quickly falling apart for IHC.
Yeah. Unfortunate. Wonders is the last man standing with the MP9, and honestly, it's not exactly the kind of gun that you're going to be super enthused to be saving through here. It's the nature of the beast, though, when you're against a team like Tyloo. It's not over until it's over, and dropping that pistol is not really a big concern for them, because they bounce right back.
Terrorists win.
Wonders gonna hold on to the MP9. He also had a really good map, like we've highlighted E-Fire. Obviously, we've seen a bit of Ariukul at the Asia Minor. We've seen Accuracy at the Asian Minor, formerly playing on ATOX. Rue, I don't think I've seen it around before, but EFI had 2 really good maps against ATOX the other night, and Wonders had one really good map. So a couple pretty promising up-and-comers. This will be a bit of a different test, though, forced by coming out here for IHC, but if it doesn't go well, like, that's about as bad of a start to this game as you can get, which will be a much better test than what we saw against IHC, because it felt like everything went their way in the game against IHC, right? Like, they never were really tested too much. So we'll see how they do when they have the worst possible start to the game, rather than, you know, perfect reads every round.
It's true. Well, looks like Tyloo going to be happily slowing things down in this round. I've already managed to get Mercury across into Secret. He's just holding position for the moment, waiting to see if there's going to be any push from IHC. Because right now, Tyloo's trying to figure out what is IHC actually bringing into this round. Going to go down pretty early on in the piece, and Mosey already able to strike for a couple of entries. That's good spacing as well from Tyloo. No chance for Wonders. So pretty easily converted by Tyloo, that bomb plan, and you'd imagine the round will follow suit as well. 2 on 5. EFI are more than likely wanting to save that M4, and Ariuka will be kind of keen to pick a gun up if possible, but made impossible by Jamyoung. So this is pretty methodical so far from Tyloo. A little bit of a unfortunate pistol round from them, but other than that, this is looking very solid indeed.
For sure. EFI looking for some exits. Got a bit of a lineup, but not quite able to put those couple of frags together. So a handful of rifles handed over to Tyloo, and their money is going to be rock solid this entire T side. Like, this is the best possible start to the T side. And for IHC, it's the worst possible start to the CT side. So, like I said, I am actually intrigued by that prospect, because, like, yeah, it's one thing to win a domestic derby against a team that you have a really good read on. I mean, we've said it a couple of times. How good does IHC do when they get the worst start to the CT side against, you know, one of the best teams in Asia? That'll be a much better test of, you know, what these guys are looking like. And in general, I mean, you know, it's great to burst onto the scene with a solid game in ECL, but definitely need to see a lot more from these guys before we could really get behind them.
Yeah. I guess at the end of the day, though, like, this game against Tyloo is probably not going to be the make or break for their season. Not expecting them to beat Tyloo, not expecting them to sort of top 1 the season. It's going to be the match against the pack at the bottom of the pack that do make or break it for IHC. Done a little bit of damage in this round. Jamyoung's down to 12 HP. And actually in a position where he may drop here. So he's called for the assistance from Mosey, and he'll get it. Much to the detriment of Mosey. Jamyoung's going to be on his bike out of there, trying to ensure that the extra AK will go through. But yeah, I mean, I think for me, like, I wouldn't really be too bothered if IHC would drop this series 0 and 2, as long as they make it look good.
Yeah, 100%. My same thoughts on the matter, pretty much. Just want to see some good rounds from them and some solid CS, basically. 3 alive for Tyloo. It's going very well for them on the T side, but look, 2 guns picked up for IHC. They've done a really good job completing that scavenging mission. Trying to min-max the cash a little bit this early on in the game is never a bad thing. Wanting to be aggressive on yard, taking duels in towards Squeaky as well. Mosey's already spammed Wonders down. So, look, the early aggression's not going the way that they were going for them in the game against ATOX.
Not. Tyloo are definitely on their hunt as well on outer. And found. Tyloo not really shying away from any of these fights at all. Zoking's going to get the 1-for-1. But Tyloo taking space as they go. Now down into secret with 3. Hasn't yet prompted a rotate out of IHC.
Tyloo pretty heavily stacked up in lowers. Ariukul is going to have a lot of work to do. Luckily, he's got 22 bullets in the A4. Deacon door getting swung wide open. Calling out for the rotate now as accuracy makes its way down Megaton.
Spot for Ariukul to be in. Try and isolate the fights, but unable to do so. Jamyoung spotting him in the decon. Bomb plant will be secured by Tyloo. Molu's going to force accuracy away. Smoke doing much the same. Really, it's only Rue at the moment that can have any impact on the side, and he's going to go down pretty quick smart. So it's another pretty comfortable round in the end that Tyloo will pick up. So far, not really seeing those same signs of life from IHC that we did in the match against Atox.
Yeah, the initial exchanges have not been going as well for them as against IHC, as against Atox rather. Just gonna try to save this rifle. See if Jamyoung can let it. Yeah, off angle. Not nearly enough up on top of the railing. And Jamyoung clearly out for blood. Tyloo's not playing around. So IHC maxing out the loss bonus now, going down 1 and 4. Probably some kind of a mixed buy here. Give themselves an outside shot at winning the round. But yeah, Tyloo 11k on G. Absolutely no money woes and absolutely no issues winning rounds on the T side right now.
Getting that out of control from Mercury. This time the rest of Tyloo working elsewhere. Mercury has gone down. It's pretty important that this ramp hit goes cleanly for Tyloo. Ariukul, though, will find his timing. Good for 1 and a little bit more damage onto Jamyoung. Keeps IHC interested in this round. E5 has been able to grab himself an AK. Was the Kadir player to watch. And we will certainly have our eyes on him this round. Tyloo were on their way to lower, which is where E5 has set up, or had set up. Has decided to go back up to the top side of the map and leave Rue isolated on that B site. He's going to need to get himself at least 1. 5-7, not quite able to do it. Soaking will survive on 4 HP, and that's enough to keep the numbers healthy for Tyloo.
Accuracy making his way over to Megaton. I'm not sure if there's a rifle for him to pick up over in that vicinity. E-Fire taking the boys over on Deacon here. Tyloo, a pretty uncomfortable position. Multiple players out in the open. One of them could have been caught by accuracy on the cross, but doesn't quite find the right timing, and he really needed to find some impact there. Now that he has an E-Fire, he's going to go ahead and save that AK, but I think a lot of saving from IHC and not really much impact in terms of, you know, making these rounds look winnable.
Decided matches in Challenger League, and a lot of them you can sort of see coming, right? You can go, oh, well, this is top team versus bottom team, but this one I necessarily expect to see a 5-1 lead. Just maybe overrated IHC based on that initial match. But I guess it is still early days. Let's not draw too many conclusions yet. Accuracy's got himself the AWP in hand now. Plenty of util to play with here for IHC. Got to start to right the ship, though. Otherwise, the capsize is very much in effect.
Yeah. It's also just, they're just going to have to bring these rounds together and see things like as they can. There's no real reset potential on Tyloo for a foreseeable period of time. Mercury making it across the secret. The rest of Tyloo grouping up for this ramp hit. Solid stuff from Ariukul. Able to get one and get out of dodge.
Yeah, he's been pretty solid.
I think accuracy's already taken squeaky control. So this reroute back out of ramp room to radio instantly punished. That's really good positioning on the CT side. It's great push and pull. Staying active and taking space where it's given.
A side here from Tyloo. G not quite quick enough to catch the player fading behind at the corner. Fire unable to win his duel against Mercury, but at the end of the day, numbers are still looking really good here for IHC, and with time teetering on the precipice for Tyloo, they're going to just have to kind of hold their W key and hit their entries. Ariukul is low down on B, but he's got reinforcements coming across. The players in control room. Mercury gets 1, 2, maybe even a third here. If we're able to do that and isolate it into the 1v1, then we have an interesting round ahead, but he should surely never be allowed the bomb plant now, and Wonders will ensure that is not the case. IHC have their second, but they had to work hard for it.
Yeah, they did. But that's a promising sign. I really like that accuracy, you know, recognized with the ramp contact coming in and the outside smokes with the secret control that there was space to be taken in lobby, and the fact that he's able to post up with the AWP and punish them coming back through radio that well is really, really good stuff. Being dynamic and, you know, less so aggressive, but more just smart about the positioning. I feel like sometimes on the CT side you can be overly passive. And Wonders has been having an absolute nightmare on this door duel with Mosey. He's been picked 2 or 3 times this game so far.
What's the response going to be from Tyloo? Is it going to be quick and dirty? It looks like it might be, but a brawl happening on outside. Accuracy not given the opportunity by his counterpart, the AWPer on Tyloo, who's instantly actually holding on a rifle.
All of these duels they were winning against ATOX the other day are just backfiring them. They're just getting punished every duel that they take. That's from Tyloo. Ariukul's the only one to find any degree of success, and look, a lot of low T's there, but still not around for IHC, and after they win one, they're instantly reset.
Timeout. IHC just feeling like this half is getting away from them a little bit, perhaps. And they might not be incorrect. 6-2, like you've said. Money's not in a good spot for IHC, though they are going to force their way through. Accuracy, Armorless AWP. E-Fire, Ariukul have got themselves rifles. Rue electing to go for the MP9 as well, just for a bit of extra util. Buy is pretty spotty, though, from IHC. This could really sink their half. The loss here, 3.4k loss bonus. If they don't save guns, they're down 2-7, perhaps 2-8. Tyloo can really run away with things from there, but see if IHC can find a way to hold on to this round.
Smoke across the outside. You got that aggressive smoke there from IHC on yard, as well as into door. So the CT's trying to keep Tyloo guessing about where it is they're going to aggress. Accuracy, looking for a player on silo. Oh, these T's so close, way closer than he expected, and he loses his head.
Ooh,
They're just
that
so
was
sharp. Like, this is just classic China CS, dude.
Hey, that's just
running
soaking.
around the map, nothing but headshots.
He's just running back the years, honestly. Bring back Orman. Bring back Advent. Bring back Kaze. Who was even on the team before that?
Nobody said bring back Kaze, but actually seems to be going well. But I think you said the other day, maybe less about Kaze being in the team and more just about the rare item project being pretty solid.
Yeah, it seems like it. Again, didn't get to watch too many games from them, but what I did see looked pretty good.
Damn, another headshot. Insta headshot from Zoki. Dude is like playing out of his mind and crossing his fingers and his toes that the Sari contract doesn't come through.
He's back.
Then as soon as he gets his spot on the team, it's back to mid, I reckon.
This core must always have at least one OG Vici player in the roster.
One burnt toast.
Just as Advent and Kaze depart, Zoking's like, hello there. But you need somebody else. Because really, when you think about it, like, this is now the new generation of Chinese CS completely taking over.
Sure. Yeah.
All the old heads are gone. And in a way, that's good to see.
Oh, yeah. In every way possible. Like, they've just been recycling the same players for way too long. Way too long. Years and years and years and years. Like, there's no way that you should have a core three of people that played in, like, the early Chinese teams of, like, 2013, 2014, 2015, that kind of era, you know? In, like, 2020.
Soaking playing a horror game right now. Some jump scares through the smoke there, but Plant's going to go down. IHC wanting to try and make this retake happen, but there's no world where that's allowed. Tyloo are going to go to 8, and they're going to continue to make it look quite decisive.
Yeah, I've seen Wonders save more AKs than kill people this game.
Terrorists win.
Well, the good news is he's got another AK at least.
Excellent.
Excellent.
I was so worried.
Woo!
Fist bumps for the boys.
I'm a bit worried, actually. If I'm being honest, it feels like tonight might be day 1 vibes rather than day 2 vibes, because at least yesterday we had, I would say, reasonably competitive series in Asia. But day 1 was not close in the slightest, and that's kind of where we're headed again. It ended up being a 9 or 10 round half for Tyloo.
At least you get the opening duel this time for IHC. That's promising. It's gone down early on, so finally the pest indoor has been dealt with. So King's snuck across the secret, and I don't know if IHC will be aware of that. They definitely aren't. Like, they've got accuracy posted on yard. They've got no one rotated down into lower or spotting the secret cross. And Jam Young, he's going to try and smoke front door. And maybe Mercury and G try to slip down the vent and meet up with Zoking and lower. Or what's the plan? It's like an uppers pressure. And they're going to go towards ramp room. So it's going to be up to Ariukul again to get some value here.
G cops a bink on the way through. So he's been able to find E-Fire. And Ariukul, he sticks around. He wants more. Won't get it. If he could have snuck another bullet onto G, then it might have been worth it. But now 3-on-3 and the B site completely taken. Tyloo gaining even more space with Zoking pushing his way into secret. This is a very hard retake for IHC now.
Yeah, Zoking's kind of won them this round, sneaking across the secret in the 4-on-5. They lost Mosey right off the bat, and this man's just reading the rotations perfectly.
He's farming. Actually, I don't know if you saw. Well, I'll tell you about it in a second. See what happens on this retake, although I'm sure there's not going to be too much to get excited about, and it turns out to be true. Oh. Accuracy.
Oh,
Will not be
look at
baited,
those exits. Look
but-
at those exits, Jordan.
Yeah, for all the good it's going to do. Did you see
I don't even know if Tyloo can buy this round.
Terrorists win.
Did you see the tweet I made like a couple days ago when I was watching Zoking play?
I don't know if I follow you, to be honest.
I'm going to link it to you. 'Cause, it's Farmer Zoking, and it's true. He's in the tractor. He's ready to go farming.
Hell yeah.
Actually, I think he's driving a bus in that photo, for what it's worth. But you know what? That's fine. We'll just pretend it's a tractor.
young, and that's about as successful as the round has been going for the most part for IHC. They've once again traded out well. This is cheeky for accuracy. Man's made his way into lobby. Unfortunately, his whole team's dead.
Not sure that he's going to get much done here, though. He may be able to deny the bomb plant, or perhaps not. Mercury is watching. 10-2 in the first half. Tyloo dominating. First half done and dusted, and it was pretty much Tyloo that was dominating across the board. 10-2. Not much to say here for IHC, but they need to win the pistol. It's the only way to start to get the ball rolling in the right direction, and even then they're going to need a very chunky half. So, see how things go in this first round, and then we can start to figure it out from there.
Yep. Got a waterfall smoke to Annex. Accuracy is going to drop down. With Mosey, a bit of a kiss in the smoke. Not sure if he was aware of that. Mercury doubling up, and there's Mosey inside Annex on a swivel. It's all on E-Fire. He's the player to watch, and he's going to bloody have to be, especially because he's got someone shooting in the back of the head no matter where he goes.
It's been executed,
oh, this game is cursed for IHC.
It happens. Good day. The office though for Tyloo. Nice to see, because last season for Tyloo was a bit up and down, that's for sure. But so far from what we've seen this season, I think pretty good results thus far. You can forgive them for dropping a map against Atox. I think that's reasonable enough. But every other game, Tyloo have kind of been dominating. 11-2. And There will be a force buy through from IHC. Pistols and armor is really about as much as they can afford. Cheeky little angle from Jamyoung, and it does its job. 2 kills plus a lot of damage. Helps out G for the third, and G will get run down, but luckily for him, Soaking is there to mop up the mess. It's not really that much of a mess, really. IHC are kind of just like the child having a tantrum in the supermarket. It's more bark than bite, really.
Yep. I mean, what are you going to do with a Mach 10 at that range against the King?
Get put down.
That's it. 15 and 4. How old is Zoking? That's what I'm wondering. Because I think there might still be hope for me, Jordan. 30 years old. I could still make a return.
If you can speak Chinese, I'd give
hope,
you a crack.
hope to old men like me and you, Jordan.
Apparently Advent's looking for some players. Maybe Zoking's having a little bit of a low-key tryout right here. This is just going to be it, done and dusted. IHC have not been competitive in this map at all, and 13-2's the score. Wow. What a quick map number 1, and what is there to say about that? Really, not a whole lot.
Zoking's avatar just says it all, I think.
Yeah. 109 ADR. Imagine getting farmed by that guy.
Every time on your screen is his avatar shows up.
Yeah.
Just absolute obliteration. I mean, I don't even know what to say. Oh, IHC, unfortunate. And look, I think at the end of the day, that tells you a little bit about the other game that we saw the other day versus Atox, to be honest.
Does put a bit of a pin in the IHC balloon. Look, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and see what we're going to get here for the next map, but that was certainly not a particularly scintillating performance from IHC. They might have had an eye on the second monitor watching the Mongols playing against G2 with the way that looked. We can take a look at the Kadir player to watch. Unfortunately, it's not going to be a very exciting scoreline there for Mr. eFire, who did very, very well on day 1, but 6 and 12 here really, really struggled to get going, along with the rest of IHC. I mean, you can't put the blame on one individual when it ends up being a 13-2 performance, but from eFire, unfortunately, it wasn't up to scratch in the same way that he was on day 1.
No, so look, we'll have to see if they can come into the next map and show us a little bit more of that, level that we saw against Atox the other day. Hopefully, maybe, it's just a bad start on Nuke. They got off to the worst start possible. I think Tyloo, though, like, they've even showed some inconsistency. Sometimes they look really, really hot to trot, and they're just running around the map killing everybody, and sometimes they look a bit lost at times. So, we'll see which Tyloo shows up to the next map as well. Yeah,
but how much difference is it going to make? If Tyloo drops off 10-15%, they're still going to be looking pretty damn good. I think IHC, it's more on what level they're going to bring. You can talk all you want about Tyloo and how they're performing, but end of the day, I think a lot of this is on IHC. So hopefully in this break, they're going to have a bit of time to have a chat, and they certainly need it. So we'll give them 10 minutes or so, but don't go too far away. Map 2 is going to be coming up right after this. Welcome back on in. It's ESL Challenger League for Asia, and right now Tyloo is on top. They are dominating. It is China over Mongolia. It's a bit of a rivalry, you know. Especially if you would have a chat with both those regions. I'm well aware that both regions do like to get into the fisticuffs against one another. Let's just say in the server in Minecraft, obviously. But actually, we're playing Counter-Strike today, and Tyloo's doing a very good job for themselves. So I actually going to find a way to step up here on Anubis.
Yeah, because somebody else isn't. So I'll just leave it at that. IHC, they're going to have to. They got kind of stomped on Nuke. Contest across the bridge. Kadia player to watch, number one. Didn't have much more of an opportunity to go better than that. Mosey unchecked in rugs. And Ariukal, well, he was in a good position, but that's kind of gone by the wayside. Wonders also cleared out by Mosey, who, quite honestly, has kind of been owning IHC so far this game.
Yeah, not too sure that accuracy is going to be able to shift the needle at all. He's got some EG stickers. There's a Flash Gaming sticker on G's P250. That is a throwback.
I remember.
Zoking, was Zoking on that Flash roster? I don't think he was. Yeah,
Zoking.
He was.
Summer,
I'm guessing it's his. It must
Fancy.
be his P250.
Who was Fancy?
Fancy Summer.
Oh, Fancy
is Summer.
So Fancy was Summer.
Somebody.
Attacker.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, it was Attacker, not somebody.
And at one point, Casa.
Kaze. Lovey, I think, might have been on that team too.
Lovey, yeah, Lovey. That's a throwback.
Dude, you know what they need at Pub Trivia? I feel like they just need like Asia CS. Because, you know, I could go to Asia CS Pub Trivia and I could win. But then they ask you about like, I don't know, like Beauty and the Geek or something. Who was on Beauty and the Geek Season 3? It's like, mate, I don't know. Ask me about Flash Gaming from 2016. I'll be able to tell you that. That's why I'm no good at Pub Trivia, I guess.
Yeah. That's alright. The pub isn't for knowing things, it's for losing brain cells, if anything.
Unknowing things.
Yeah. And look, Zoking, he's learning a lot of things about what the CTs are doing, and it's not much in middle. This mid to A split's gone pretty smoothly. And IHC, they're being sneaky snakes over in water. Oh, poor Mosey.
Well, farmer's in session. Tyloo happy with that.
I mean, they didn't lose anything. They lost a set of armor, and that's about it. So they'll take that. This buy round for IHC. Try and change the narrative here. This game that has not been going well for them. Orb's already out for G. Not wasting any time getting that rolling. Mercury's copped a fair bit of damage. Over in Waterside. G looking to put this orb to use if he can, but he's already been smoked off out of E-box, so gonna have to bide his time for a little longer. Look at this though, IHC mobilizing to the middle of the map, looking to try to fight across the bridge early on and just play full retake 8.
Accuracy, hoping to stop that.
Yeah, I mean, Tyloo were kind of all over that.
Tyloo not really getting through this one too quickly. Root. Oh, I thought for a second he might actually go down there. Mercury liable to sometimes bang a head off, but this is much better from IHC. Couple of good shots coming through. Mosey will also see himself alongside G as the last man standing here for Tyloo. Waiting to see if E5 is going to make a mistake. They're making a couple of noises here. Footsteps, waiting for that peak. Not going to get it. E5 more than happy to just back off. into a more defensible position.
20 seconds.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Tyloo's going to do with this.
I think they're just saving.
Saving guns, I guess.
See if IHC going to throw away any rifles here. Good thing to just keep their economy nice and stable, so they keep 4 guns up. And that's a pretty good first gun round. That's more promising than the start they had on Nuke, that's for sure.
Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, though.
They're back. Best team in Mongolia.
They're back.
Hands down.
G's got the AWP. Had a couple of nice highlights on this map with the AWP when he was on the old Linvision roster. Mosey, though, has been discovered by accuracy, but it's not helping IHC much in this round. They need to deal with what's happening there on B, and they do. Jamyoung down pretty quick smart. It's a bit of a miscellaneous round, really, from Tyloo. Pushes all over the place. And it's not working. And then we're going to have to go back to the drawing board for that one, because that did not look like the prettiest of T-side rounds out from Tyloo at all.
I mean, this is classic, isn't it? Stomp them for an entire map and then get 2 pretty... I mean, look at where everyone died this round for Tyloo. Like, this round was all over the shop. We're losing picks all over the map. Bombs in T's form. And no one was even anywhere near picking that up. Progression smoked up for Mercury towards spawn. But IHC are no longer defending the sites, they're just sitting on top of the bomb.
I mean, fair enough, right? Mercury's definitely taking his time. But I guess at this point, any thoughts of winning the round are long gone, so may as well just hang on to the AK.
Counter-terrorists win.
That's 2 in a row for IHC. Money looking very good on the CT side early on here. Much better than the start they had to Nuke. And it could be another 1-1 for the Mongolian-Chinese matchup. Might be similar to the Atox game, honestly. Like, I could see similar to Atox, Tyloo just stomping one map and then losing a close one. Especially with this start to the CT side, like IHC is already in a pretty good position. Anubis, like, they're going to anti-eco now. Mercury's going to have whack money with a hero AK. This kind of start, CT side Anubis, you are pretty happy with, honestly.
Yeah, I think they'll take it, no doubt. But then again, we'll just wait and see what Mercury's going to do with this AK. He's going to be flashed into A long. No one actually facing right now for IHC though, so unlikely that anything's really going to come from that. And so in the end, actually, Tyloo deciding to hold their util. And maybe Mercury will be flashed into E-Box instead, which also won't be super successful. But if they take E-Box for free, G outside of B with the flashes, maybe they can get an entry or 2 onto the B-bomb site. That's where things could actually start to open up a little bit here for Tyloo. That's a sharp shot. Contact play, in fact. It doesn't even come down to the flashbangs. Now, though, the flood is in. Tyloo looking to dig out that extra player, and it comes down to the Glock to do it. Mosey's grabbed himself the AK, nade in behind him, and he's able to cross over to CT. Starting to put a bit of pressure onto accuracy. Meanwhile, Jamyoung with the flank around behind. He could really be a big problem. The linchpin for this round, though, is that Jamyoung gets in time to cause some havoc, and he does. He finds accuracy in the back. And now Wonders and E-Fire have multiple angles to check to clear. Shot connects onto Wonders. He is going to volley off Jamyoung, but the AWP still connecting. And Mosey's got it done as well with the AK. Tyloo just conjure around out of nowhere. IHC left stunned.
It's a single AK. But look, honestly, although it was a sharp entry out of E-Box from Mercury, most of that was done with Glocks. Good awareness from Jam Young to come in for the late wrap there, and that makes the IHC economy just disintegrate. Now we're onto a pretty whack force buy. Almost no util to their names. Orbs out for accuracy. 1 M4. And for how good of a start I was, hyping up for IHC, it's already looking pretty grim already.
Okay, mag 7. Causing a bit of a ruckus. Even a little bit more chip damage over to G as well. This round has gone a bit haywire. Luckily, our Lord and Savior Zoking is continuing to put in the work in middle. And so he's cleared out a pretty substantial area of the map for Tyloo to work with, and that'll be the A site starting to get cracked open. Ariuku on the flank. G's aware of it. And a little bit of a crisis averted there for Tyloo, because that round could have definitely gone a little bit worse. But they're starting to get control of this game back.
Yeah,
look for a moment that IHC might make it close, but doesn't seem so now.
I mean, they were in such a good position, and then, despite knowing that there's a single AK saved, hero AK, they lose to the single hero AK and a handful of Glocks, basically, and then their money's in a bad position. They have to go for a pretty whack force, and that goes poorly for them, and all of a sudden, Tyloo are into an anti-eco and in a dominant position the economy. Could be another pretty one-sided game from what was a very promising position.
Don't mind this little bit of aggression out from IHC, though. Trouble is, you really don't have much to work with. The USP for accuracy, if it was maybe a deagle or something. But he's been spotted now. And so it'll be a pretty routine kill for Jamyong, who's been pretty sharp all night.
Zoking. Very cool. Running out middle and finding himself an AK. But in the meanwhile, Tyloo have taken full control of the B site, and they've got Mosey on the lurk to cut pretty much half the map.
Should be another easy one for Tyloo. Gonna give Wonders a little bit of a chance in there with the deagle, but not a big one. That's the round over. IHC not interested. Try and save that AK.
May as well. Wonders seeing if you can find any exits with the deagle. But nothing really being offered by Mercury here, but that's a hell of an off angle to check. It's a pretty easy fit for Tyloo.
Yeah, it's another one of those games where it feels like it was sort of at a point that maybe we would have a competitive game, then you kind of look away for like a couple of minutes, and then the scoreline's 5-2, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Guess that's that.
No orb money either, unfortunately. So G gonna have the better end of the AWPing equation on this T side. A lot of util invested early on here for IHC. Really looking to contest map control. Tyloo have taken A main very quickly though, and you can see that's pulling rotations away from middle straight away and burning through even more of the util that IHC had. So even at 1 minute 35, they've used most of their utility in the early round. But accuracy, not letting Mosey have any space or control over on this A side of the map. He continues to push forward.
Oh,
And
what?
I mean, it looked like a no-scope, but apparently on the kill feed it says that that was a quick scope from G.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, anyway, one in the middle. It's not too bad from Zoking. It's going to cost a little bit of time for IHC, and in that time, Jamyoung and the rest of Tyloo have been able to work their way into A. Mercury does a good job of cutting off the rotate of Ariukul, and no chance here for Ru. Until to slow him down, or not. Jamyoung, though, will put him to rest. It's going to have to be another half buy for IHC. 3.4k loss bonus. They can, you know, maybe put a bit of pistol armor into this round on a couple of members, but it's nothing too exciting.
It's just another save in a sea of saves from IHC. Their Anubis CT side going much the way of their Nuke CT side, unfortunately. Good pressure from Tyloo over towards B and G. Posted up on the jump spot there.
Well, 4-on-3 here. I mean, it's quickly going by the wayside again for IHC, isn't it? Like, there's just nothing in this. In there with the Famous. Nothing to be done. 7-2. And we'll continue on our way forward. It doesn't seem like the road is going to have any twists and turns for Tyloo today.
Look, they got another gun round though. And they finally got the AWP back. They've been grinding for this, Jordan. Into round 10. Can they make this a 5-round half?
We're all on the grind set now.
Which honestly would not be too bad on the CT side of Anubis.
But do you believe the words you're saying?
This is recoverable.
No, you're capping. I know when you're lying. Not even you believe it. But I guess the important thing is that IHC believes it. It doesn't really come down to what we think.
Oh, they have no shortage of belief. Like, they have been continuing to aggress pretty hard. The problem is they're getting shot in the head almost every time. Case in point.
Yeah, Tyloo way too ready for that. They know that that's like pretty much the A side taken, so they'll send Zoking in through middle. The other couple of lads working their way in A main. Bomb's going to be left behind.
180 game from Zoking. You know.
Zogoat, they call him.
Goat King.
He's not the goat. He's not the king anymore, he's the goat.
He's like the emperor.
I still maintain that you could actually make a pretty decent Chinese team with all kings that they've got over there.
Child
Yang
King.
King, Zoking, Child King. Isn't there a player just called King?
Not that I'm aware in CS, but there's like 2 in the cartoon shooter. There's a Korean guy and a South American bloke.
Looking up Chinese CS players on Liquipedia. Eco King.
Eco King, he's in. Need someone to get the eco cracks.
That's right.
Bought a job.
Used to play on illustrious teams such as K-Star, Team Max, Master Grade, Ambition. I've never heard of any of these teams, except for maybe K-Star.
I have not heard of K-Star. Except K-Star used to be an Australian player.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah. That's back in my era. It's like 2014.
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Man, don't say that.
Was
I
an
started-
18-year-old Counter-Strike player.
Yeah, I started doing the esports stream at 2013. And now it's, yeah, here we are.
Now we're casting Tyloo, destroying IHC.
Back then, I didn't know what Tyloo was.
Yeah, look, in 2013, who could have told you you'd be casting the 48th season of ESL Challenger League?
I mean, who would have thought there would be 48 seasons? I never
They
thought.
just keep making them. It's the longest running show on the air.
This is the greatest show.
Oh man.
It's not the greatest show for IHC, is it? Yeah.
They keep trying, you know, they keep aggressing, they keep running it down. Respect to him, honestly. And like accuracy, he's happy with that no scope. He's happy with that shot as well. But I don't know, is that going to be enough? I don't 2-on-2, okay. Alright.
Plant's going down. G's watching the angle. Oh, but he's going to miss the shot. Now he's under pressure, actually. That smoke's not going to go down fast enough. Somehow he gets the Tech 9 out. I don't know how he's still alive. Rue. Oh, he's gone for the AWP, not the Tech 9. And he's just put him in the ground. I mean, that's just it. That's done.
GG.
They're just mad after that.
GG. Man, who picks these games? It's me. I picked this game. Sorry, guys.
I would have thought this would be a good game. I don't blame you.
Well, Zoking's dropped below 100 ADR, so at least IHC's got a chance now.
That's fair. Last round in the half, though, it feels really irrelevant which way it ends up going. That said, Wonders is going to grab himself the kill onto Mosey, so the third round on CT side may be on offer. Blue setting up for the E-box take. G's carrying the bomb. Zoking up to his usual tricks. I mean, they really just said, Zoking, you can just stay mid and do whatever you want. The rest of us are going to work the rest of the map, and it's not worked out too well this time around. Maybe it doesn't matter what Zoking gets done in middle. If it's just Jam Young over towards B, bombs dropped in E-box as well, and Tyloo should inevitably drop this final round of the half.
Told you.
But for all the good it's going to do for
ADR.
IHC.
95 ADR, and that's a round for IHC. 3 rounds is not what you would have guessed based on their start to the half, but it's what they'll get.
9-3. It's a little better for IHC than what they suffered on Nuke, but not really by a whole lot. So I have to imagine this is going to still be a pretty tough game for them. But Pilski, we are just the viewers. We just have to sit here and have a little bit of a watch and see what they're going to be able to do.
That's true. And they're back. They're ready to go. Wonders is coming through a portal. Straight into the server. And look, let's see what IHC are going to get to do on this T side here. They've got some puzzles to solve, that's for sure.
IHC trying to bring the pace to this round at least. Very fast through middle. Mercury's going to have to hightail it out of there, and he's just not able to do so in time. That's a good chase from IHC. And instantly, they will slow things down. Jamyoung now also low. He's copped a goosh back in CT spawn, and interestingly, IHC have decided to go over toward A, which is where the bulk of the Tyloo forces are. This may still go wrong for IHC. If the next kill goes the way of Tyloo, it won't. G's found himself one with the duels. It's not enough to keep us too excited, though. And with Mosey going down, that should all but seal the deal. Pissed around. It's not been kind to Tyloo at all.
It's much needed for IHC, though. Jamyoung seeing if he can save himself some Kevlar. Or maybe get an exit. Hear all those footsteps from Wonders. He's going to let him pass. And Jamyoung's going to go straight chill over at the beach. Oh, hello accuracy. Oh no. Not the best timing. And go down. But good stuff from IHC. Finally, some of their pacing working out. Especially at this current juncture in the match. So they need every round that they can get. And the T-side pistol is actually a pretty good way to get back into the game, honestly, from being at a 9-3 deficit.
Yeah, take it slow. Take it one round at a time. Find it a little bit interesting there that G was halfway convinced he was going to get a buy into that round. The rest of Tyloo not so. So the sale comes through.
Yeah.
Or the refund, I guess, as it were.
Yeah, you could say he's being a bit frugal, to be honest. Which is a bit like G. Loves to save his money for orbs, of course.
Yep. That's true. Okay. Starting to see some signs of life here from IHC. It's a nice little kill in there from G, but nothing too notable just yet. We'll have to get into that first gun round and really then start to see how good IHC really look. This could be a fake comeback. Is it even fair to say it's a fake comeback?
The fakest of comebacks.
Like, we're not
We
even
had
at
a
that
fake
point.
comeback yesterday, didn't we?
Yep.
That was from Tyloo themselves. They know what a fake comeback looks like.
That is true. They also know what a fake map win looks like because they get to 15. Well, the old Tyloo side Fiji. They would get to 15, and then they'd go, we've won the map. But actually, they didn't. It was a fake map win, and then they would lose.
And they lost 10 tournaments in a row to Tyloo.
Yep. So they're experienced
were
with
the
all
days.
manner of interesting games.
First gun round, G's glass cannoning and all. Pretty much no yield here for Tyloo. Couple flashes and smokes for, you know, initial kind of exchanges of util. But they can't even really stop much of anything happening. Straight up into E-Box. Wonders has found the opener onto Mosey. Accuracy just runs into E-Box with it all. And I don't know what kind of pep talk that IHC got going in that break, but it's definitely got them fired up.
Yeah. Wouldn't be too surprised to see Tyloo sort of trying to combine their forces onto one bomb site here. G's already exiting the B site. So it might just be a stack on A. If IHC goes in that direction, fight for it, and if not, save guns. Jamyoung is watching middle. IHC are not going anywhere too quickly.
Harry is having a look over towards this big side of the map. Wonders trying to get a read on how much is committed to A. This fire and Jamyoung in the middle of the map going to be pretty important. If IHC donate a pick over towards A as well, it's going to even up the numbers, but they will get a positional advantage. Wonders has been able to find a kill though. He's found G as well, so self-sufficiently with the util clearing out the A site at the same time that the rest of IHC goes in towards B. Accuracy picks Jamyoung in the middle of the map, so they're aware of that duel he took on double doors. So it's an instant reset from IHC. And they keep plugging away on this T side. I'm going to hold my tongue though. Last time I said things were going really well for them early in the half. They lost to an eco and we all saw how that went.
Yeah, I mean 9-6. It's definitely not looking quite as dire anymore. There'll be another save round out for Tyloo as well. So the gap should continue to get slimmer and slimmer.
It's pretty much just a 2-1-2 for IHC. Having a look over towards this A extremity, holding the B control, posted up on bridge. Waiting to see what Tyloo will do. And as the A pressure comes in from Wonders, that is where Tyloo will stack.
Open the door up for the rest of the Tyloo members, and Rue makes a bit of a meal of that. All of a sudden, Tyloo have got a couple of guns to hold on to.
I don't know how G's got 2 kills on 7 HP. He got double naded off the side of the round, and he's still managing to fight impact.
Just got to shoot him in the head. So King's going to go hunting for another. Timing pretty critical here for Ariukul if he's looking in the wrong direction. So King very much can walk up, catch him unawares. It's a 4-on-2. That is going to really incentivize Tyloo to go there. Oh, what? Gee, what are you doing? There's no way. There's no way he's gotten away with that.
Oh, they've won another eco. That's unreal.
What
Just when things were starting to go well for IHC, they get eco'd again. Oh,
I can't believe it. What have I just seen? G thought he was playing Apex Legends.
There's definitely a lot of ape going on there, that's for sure.
He's gone for the
I'll
super
leave it at
glide.
that.
Ay, ay, ay.
Monkey G, monkey do.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for IHC. Felt that they really were starting to make some inroads on the map, and now that can be taken away from them pretty quickly. And if they were to lose this round, I mean, that's kind of just map over really at that point. Money will be broken. So if they want to continue to contest, they must win here.
Yeah, I mean, they've given... Look at Tyloo's money off the back of winning that round. It's kind of insane on the CG side right now. You see... That's kind of been the standout for IHC so far. Really, really good game from him. Another pick on the ult. So King looking for a gap in middle, but there just isn't one. Just layers and layers of util thrown at him. This has been a problem for IHG. Every time they get the opening hit, then they slow down around the map and they start to get picked. And again, it's the same problem. Like none of these duels have actually ended in a clean mid to late round, right? Like they're just it's just miscellaneous fights all over the map that aren't going their way. So despite being a 5-on-4 advantage, like they don't really do anything good. If anything, they just kind of fall apart at every juncture across the map. And that's a 3K from Jam Young. Just taking fights over towards A long self-sufficiently and then punishing the last player running down mid. Like that is just you can't get the opening pick on your AWP on the T side and then just let the rest of the round unfold that way. You need a clear, clean plan in the mid round against a team like Tyloo, or they will abuse you.
That'll be probably the map-winning round from Tyloo there, because it's again broken that money from IHC. They're down to just pistols. Get one more gun round, but to come back from a 12-6 deficit just seems to be a little bit too insurmountable. Unless they can pull something special off in this round, which it's not looking like it's going to happen. Through down low already. They've lost the initial player. No one really having any issues. Jam Young's going to blow Ariukul into smithereens.
That side, eh? Not really too much to be said. Not much expectation for IHC in this round. And they've got a lot of work to do with 5 players surviving here on Tyloo. Never mind, Rue taking the AWP out of G's hands at least. It's a good shot on the Deagle. Oh, that's going to be about all you can celebrate for IHC in this round. 4 alive for Tyloo. Map point here on Anubis. And IHC, it's been a disappointing night for them.
It has. But good signs for Tyloo as we continue to get an idea of how this team's going to continue to play. G, the standout here on map 2.
Yeah, he's been up and down, but when he's on, he's on.
Nicely timed util. Now then, Jam Young. He's going to set it up nicely. Mercury, whoa! He's just put them into the blender, turned them into a banana smoothie, and said goodnight. There goes IHC. 13-6. Tyloo will win map 2 as well.
Yeah, the protocols have won them that round. Like, you can see they were ready for that execute timing. The counter util was absolutely picture perfect. They already had 3 people on the site ready to, crossfire and shut down that plate before it even got rolling. So that was just really, really clean defense there for Tyloo. And 2 really, really clean maps from them. They are looking pretty good here in Challenger League as, to pretty much no one's surprise. And they're definitely a team we've got our eye on heading into the second half of the year for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the crazy thing is, like, this is not even the final form of Tyloo, so they do stand to get a bit stronger as well. Which is an exciting prospect, like maybe Chinese CSs get back on the map in 2024 or 2025. I guess Lin Vision sort of put them back on the map in 2024 with their qualification for the major at the previous RMR. But going forward, maybe Tyloo's going to continue to, keep that run going and probably look to improve upon it, given the fact that, this particular upcoming major is going to be a bigger one for Asia in general, but especially for the Chinese rosters. And so if it could be a peak period for Tyloo and for this team, like that actually is a very exciting prospect, especially with Mongols doing really well for themselves at the moment. So I definitely welcome solid performances from Tyloo, regardless of who it's against, and that certainly was it. And I've got my fingers crossed for the future going forward that this team is really going to be able to reach the same heights that some of the previous Chinese rosters have been able to, and then obviously go better than that as well. Because look, it's one thing to sort of dominate Asia, which is more or less what the Chinese rosters were doing for a while, but they never really did anything internationally. No one from Asia did until the Mongols, and hopefully this Tyloo team could potentially be that second Asia team to start contesting on an international stage.
Yeah, it might be the most stacked Chinese roster that we've seen, to be honest, especially with roles that make sense. Like, I think the best Tyloo roster was obviously a mixed one, and even the full Chinese rosters that had some very, very sharp players and some, big firepower did not have a good balance of roles. Always too many aggressive riflers, no proper primary AWPer. So I think that this Tyloo roster that they're putting together looks like it could be the best one to be made yet, especially because look, they're kind of dominating here in ECL, and they haven't even picked up the player that's rumored to join their roster, which was the best player in ECL last season. So, it can only go up from here.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember, is Starry actually announced, or am I capping? Because I swear I saw an announcement. Oh, it was a G announcement, actually. That's what
I think
it was.
It was the G announcement that I saw.
Yeah. But obviously with the rumor being that Starry's joining this team as well, and the fact that he's moved on from Linvision, you can probably be put 2 and 2 together yourself.
Which is kind of crazy because he hard carried them to qualify for EPL through last season of ECL, and he's not even going to be going.
Yeah. I don't know why it would make sense that one is in the team now and the other is not, if they would have both left Linvision at the same time. But anyway, maybe there's some contract negotiations going on in the background. That's not something that we're aware of. Either way, that's the end of the day. Again, another very fast one here for Season 48 of Asia. But I guess that gives us more time to look forward to tomorrow. And of course, that will be coming back again for Oceania first, and then we'll be back for Asia. So a lot more Counter-Strike coming up tomorrow, and I'm sure there's a lot more that you guys can be watching at the moment anyway. So go and support the Mongols, go and support FlyQuest. We love them, and we want to see them do so well. But for now, we'll say good night and see you again tomorrow. Bye.